Greetings, my friends. This is Carrie Konyha welcoming you back to my channel as we take a look at the astrological energies happening this week and the dates ranging from June 14th through June 20th, 2022. We just had the full moon in the sign of Sagittarius, so I'm going to begin this episode by talking about the predominant elemental themes that are connected to this full moon week that we're in the midst of right now. We definitely have a strong fire element emphasis and earth element emphasis because we have several celestial bodies and planets in fire signs and earth signs. Now, fire is all about expansion, enthusiasm, optimism, but it's also purification. Earth is grounding, but it's also creation energy and manifestation energy. So it feels like there's this overarching theme this week that on one level is supporting us all in transmuting, clearing away, purifying any energies that have been subduing us at all, so that we can really fully step into our higher selves, which is very connected to other aspects of the astrology, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit here. So ultimately, the theme is this week about activating and embodying our higher identities. Now, we have an interesting thing happening around the full moon astrology this week. So we have the sun in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius, both making a square to Neptune in Pisces. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this chart that I look at each week when I'm looking at the chart for the moons. You can see this line here that's connected to the moon and the sun, indicating that they are opposing each other, but they're both squaring Neptune here. In astrology, this is called a T-square, and it's when you have three celestial bodies making a squaring aspect to one another. It does present a little bit of a challenge energy, and we can look at that on more of a 3D level and how that might make us think or feel. But I prefer to look at astrology from more of a soulful perspective and how we can harness the power of the energies to support our journeys in spiritual empowerment. So if we take a look at this, the sun is about our personality and our sense of self-identity. The moon is our sensing, feeling, emotional body, our intuition, and Neptune represents our spiritual nature. It is connected to the unseen dimensions of life. So on a 3D level, we might say that, we're going to be experiencing a sense of contradictoriness this week or conflict because of this being pulled in different directions, where the sun in Gemini wants me to be playful and outgoing. The moon in Sagittarius is also igniting a sense of optimism, enthusiasm, explorative energies. But then the Neptune in Pisces wants me to just sit and meditate. So we could look at it that way, but I look at squares as being checkpoints that are meant to be worked with in ways that we can sort of rectify or unify an energy. So when a square happens, it brings us to a point where we have to check in with ourselves and how do I work with this energy? So ultimately, it feels like with the sun being connected to our identity, the moon being connected to our inner being and our inner processes, both of these squaring Neptune and Pisces to me says that we're all being called to shift into our higher identity, especially when we consider what's going on with Venus and Mars right now. Venus is at home in the sign of Taurus. Venus, one of the aspects of Venus is connected to supporting us in embodying our higher self. In Taurus, we want to feel really grounded in our higher self, especially because Venus is conjunct Uranus right now, and Uranus is about higher mind. Uranus also brings about sudden unexpected opportunities as well, like on a 3D level, but on a 5D level, on a higher expression level, it's really about attuning to our higher soul nature, especially in the sign of Taurus. While at the same time, we have Mars in the sign of Aries, which it's super at home with. Aries is very initiating energy. It's enthusiasm. It's like a burst of initiation type energy where we really want to set things in motion. We really want to take action. So Mars, representing the sacred masculine principle, is really experiencing an activation of empowerment right now as it's in Aries, while the sacred feminine, which is represented by Venus, is also experiencing an activation right now with its conjunction to Uranus, and also with Venus being at home in the sign of Taurus. So we all have this energy of fine-tunement happening this week. This goes back to that T-square that we have going on between Neptune, the Sun, and the Moon in mutable signs. Mutable signs are flexible. And so this week, actually this next 8 days or so leading up to the summer solstice, is all about an energy of fine-tunement, calibration, refinement-oriented adjustments that ultimately are supporting us in shifting completely into our highest soul nature. This is definitely a time, and this theme has been building up over the past few weeks. So some of these elements that I'm talking about today are elements that have been coming into the picture over the past few weeks, but this is really an amazing opportunity for us all to shed whatever's not working for us, whatever's not aligned with our highest and best timeline, so that we can really optimize that dialed in sense of unification within ourselves between our own inner empowered sacred masculine and sacred feminine. Again, the masculine, which is connected to the planet Mars, is all about taking charge, setting things in motion, taking action in alignment with the intentions that are connected to the sacred feminine, our soul-centered intention, our soulful ambitions. There's also a conjunction alignment happening between Mars and Chiron this next few days in the sign of Aries, and then Jupiter is not in that conjunction alignment, but is also in the sign of Aries. So there's a big expansion, liberation energy connected to things having to do with our deepest wounds, because that's what Chiron represents. Mars is connected to the archetype of the warrior, and being that Mars is conjunct Chiron right now, which is about our deepest or core wounds, it's time for us to really shift into our spiritual warriorness. The energy right now is naturally compelling us in the direction of coming into deep healing. Now, when it comes to healing work, healing is a part of what supports us in coming into deeper empowerment in our life. But there comes a time where we experience healing. We don't want to get stuck in an endless cycle of healing, right? We want to realize where we have achieved healing, and we want to allow ourselves to step into embodied empowerment as healed spiritual warriors of light, which is what this Jupiter energy is lending itself to as well this week. We also have Pluto making trine aspects to both Venus and Mercury this week. The Pluto energy connected to these planets further emphasizes and supports positive transformation. And I also want to remind us all that on the 13th, Mercury made its way back into the sign of Gemini. So we're almost out of the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, and we're going to all be experiencing a sense of feeling like we can finally make some headway in the areas that maybe we have felt glitchy or having setbacks with, especially with the communication aspects of our lives. This can be interpersonal communication and communication-oriented tasks and projects that we have going on. This is a really good time to put positive energy into creative communication-oriented projects. I talked about this last week, and now the energy is completely kicking in. With that, let's go ahead and see what additional sacred wisdom teachings want to channel through the cards. I'm working with my Universal Rider-Waite deck today, and I'm going to start by selecting 3 cards, and we're going to take a look at deeper insights around the energy that's shaping up, how we can harness the power of the energy, and then what the potentials and possibilities are that come from our conscious working with the energy. So let me go ahead and select some cards here. And here we go. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have the 10 of Swords coming up. We have the 6 of Swords and the 7 of Cups. So I feel like the 10 of Swords is a representation of the energy now, because the 10 of Swords does indicate a transitional, transformative energy. It indicates the completion of a cycle of experience and the threshold of entering into a new cycle of experience. Specifically with the Suit of Swords, it's a deep purging, cleansing, clearing of anything that has held us back that is connected to our mindset. Swords is mental energy. It has to do with thinking, learning, communication, and things of that nature. So I feel like this is connected to the ingress of Mercury into the sign of Gemini, and that fresh energy coming in is connected to that. So this is clearing away anything that has kept us stuck in old patterns of densities or stagnations that have specifically been connected to what I call shadow thinking. Shadow thinking is all of those worries, fears, concerns, projections, assumptions, most of which are never going to happen and most of which are not literally true. And so this is a really good week to work with this energy consciously, checking in with what your overall mindset is. Is your mindset in a healthy space right now, where you're looking at things in the perspective of possibilities, potentials, opportunities? Or have you been in some type of fatalistic, fear-based, lack limitation mindset? So this card coming up asks us to take a look at that within ourselves, but then also promises the opportunity for renewal, which is what the sun coming out in the background of this card represents. You can see in the foreground, it's like dark, stormy skies, but the sun is coming out in the background. And so the purging, the purification energy that's connected to this is depicted by the swords piercing this person. And it does represent a metaphoric, again, clearing away, metaphoric death, leading to a renewal of mindset. And that is what's enabling us to move on, which is what's indicated by this Six of Swords here. The Six of Swords is an energy of movement. The main aspect that I like to point out in this card is that you can see on one side of the boat, the water is choppy, and on the other side, it's tranquil. and peaceful and still. So this card literally represents a movement of energy that supports us in coming out of more of a turbulent mindset into more of a peaceful mindset. Now, the nature of this card reveals two people here, actually three, because there's a child here, there's a figure of a woman, and a man who is helping them to cross this body of water. This component can represent that you might feel compelled to reach out for some type of support or guidance in ways that help you to make whatever mindset shifts you need to. This could be confiding in a friend, some type of healing practitioner, whatever. But don't be afraid to reach out for support and guidance if you yourself are feeling a little bit worn down, exhausted, and weary. Now, this is leading all to a very vibrant energy connected with the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups, first I want to say that the number 7 in the tarot represents change, but it's self-guided, self-chosen change. It's not unforeseen change that we're navigating. And this is the energy of reviewing and reprioritizing. So when this card comes up, it indicates that there's new possibilities, opportunities coming into view. This is very connected to the Venus-Uranus conjunction that's happening this week. Some of the opportunities and possibilities that are coming into view might be things that are suddenly coming into the picture in unexpected ways. But the energy is one of empowerment in the way that we are the ones that are consciously choosing and deciding what we want our priorities to be right now. Now you can see that there's something different in each cup. So one thing that you can do as you're looking at this card is to ask yourself, which of these cups is my awareness mostly being drawn to? And then you can research the symbol in that cup to gain more awareness about that. So we have a castle, we have jewelry, we have a wreath, we have a mythical dragon, we have a snake, we have a cloaked image, and we have like an angelic image here that could also be connected to higher guidance energies. When I'm looking at this card today, I feel really connected to this card here, which is the cloaked silhouette, which is representative of delving into the mysteries of yourself, delving into the unknown, empowering aspects of yourself that are connected to the mystery of you, which is connected to the soul of you. This goes back to that message that I'm getting about us all being really empowered this week to activate, energize, and embody our higher soul nature, our higher identities. That's what the energy is all evolving towards this entire year, and it's shaping up this week in ways that enable us to actually make that shift. So let me know in the comments below how it's shaping up for you. Also, I'd love to hear where you're all chiming in from. I'm chiming in, as usual, from the magical lands of Sedona, Arizona. I would love for you to share with all of us below where you are chiming in from in the world so that we can all collectively create a web of light that supports us all. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there for today, but I'm going to see you in the next video right around the corner. All my love, many blessings, and namaste.